Grandma and Grandpa loaded them up in the family pickup, and they took their cattle and Dad and Uncle John and a box of ham sandwiches up to the Stark County Fair, which was at the current fairgrounds on Wirtz Avenue. Left them there. They slept with their animals, and they'd come back and pick them up 5 days later. Dad went to 80 consecutive fairs.
Wow.
80 years.
Stark County Fairs.
Stark County Fairs.
Wow.
Because, he grew up at the fair. He might have missed a couple when he was in World War II, but he always wanted to come back to the farm. And then when he ran for State House in '64, he always had a booth at the Stark County Fair, and he just loved it because
Right.
he loved talking to people, helping people. And then when I was growing up, we were involved in 4-H. We had steers. We showed steers up at the fair. So
what would be the timeline on something like that?
I started showing steers when I was, it would have been 66, 67 when I was 9, 10 years old. And I showed steers till I was 18. So I went to college, and I had 2 reserve champions I was pretty proud of. I started taking Charolais back then, and back in the 60s and 70s, the steers were judged, it was always the Black Angus that were about this high and about this wide, and then I brought this Charolais in, it was this high and this wide, and that's when it all started to transition, because they realized there was a lot of fat in the Angus that were coming through the fairgrounds. And so now you see all the crossbreeds, all the steers out there now are the tall, thinner ones, because it makes better meat. And so we always knew where Dad was when we needed money. And so, because he was always out there campaigning, but I just loved the fair, and Dad loved the fair. But the 4-H program that is in Stark County, and I'll give the
is that still alive and well and vibrant?
Absolutely. There's over 1,000 projects that are out there at the Stark County Fair. I think they have over 500 or 600 kids that participate in at the fair. The market sale is one of the best in the state. So, Martin, you go out and buy yourself a lamb or a hog or a steer or chickens. The chicken sales tonight, by the way, or a turkey or a goat. And I tell you what, it's really, in talking to these kids that are involved in 4-H, Judge Stuckey years ago did a survey of the kids that go through Multi-County Juvenile Detention Center. He never found one kid that had any involvement with 4-H that would go, got in trouble, I guess I would say. So it's a great program. They have a new junior fair coordinator that takes care of the kids. We gave out scholarships last night. Well, they gave out scholarships, and I just give the Stark County Fair Board, Dale Click, who's the head of the Stark County Fair Board. They've made some really major improvements out there. They've done some paving. They've worked with our county engineer, who uses it as kind of a practice area for his guys for paving projects. They North Star and or Winger Excavating donated like 100 tons of blacktop, and they gave them some at a reduced. They laid over 360 tons of blacktop. They painted the buildings. The place looks great, and it's good, clean American fun. Right. Is at the Stark County Fair.
Well, it wasn't too many years. I've been covering Stark County Commissioner meetings for about 10, 11 years now, and I can remember along the way that there were grandstand problems and some other problems out there. They've been solved?
They have been. The Fair Board and, I can't remember, Gene Slicker went out and they went to the local community foundations to get some funding to repair the grandstands. And they fixed the grandstands all up. They put the railings in so people can get up and down. They painted everything.
And this was a time that the commissioners, even though the commissioners, even the board that preceded this board,
right.
Democrats, have always been very supportive of Stark County Fair, but there was no money. There was no money in the commissioner's budget for the fair. So the fair folks have done a terrific job of generating their own capital resources to take care of the problems.
Absolutely, and they've gotten sponsors. I know Progressive Chevrolet is one of the big sponsors out there now, and farmers are resourceful, and agricultural people are resourceful. So the situation out there is the county owns the land. But the Agricultural Society owns the building, so it's a collaborative effort, I guess I would say. And but they've made a lot of progress, and I really do encourage people, if you haven't been out to the fair in the past 5 or 10 years, take your grandkids or your kids and go out and have a good time.
Okay, well, thank you. Stark County Commissioner Richard.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted today was the Kathy Ann Kress, who is the dean of Ohio State University Agricultural School. She was out there taking a tour today, and we talked a lot about workforce for one. But one of the largest employers and one of the largest businesses we have in Stark County, the largest business, is still agriculture and food processing. If you think about it, we have some of the largest food processors. Superior Dairy is the largest fluid milk bottler east of the Mississippi. Brewster Dairy is the largest Swiss cheese manufacturers in the country. And we've got Berry Cheese, Shears Snacks, Freshmark, and Sugardale. I mean, the food processing industry is huge in Stark County, but our biggest challenge is workforce, finding enough workers for the industry. I mean, we have 7,000 jobs here in Stark County that are available. So one of the things we talked about is, because these 4-H kids, we got to get to them and show them the opportunity that is here in Stark County. There was a whole group of RG drag students that were out there today. Dan Murphy, I decided either last year or the year before to just bring his students out to the fairgrounds, because a lot of them, even if they're in a career tech school like RG Drag, but a lot of them never been to the county fair. So he took half of them yesterday and half of them today just to show them around. So that's the kind of kids that we have to get to show them the opportunity, either in the agricultural business or the manufacturing business, or there's all walks, all kinds of jobs that are available.
Okay.
So.
Okay, thank you, Richard
Thank you.
Regular, Stark County Commissioner.
All right. Thanks, Martin.
Appreciate it. Well, that was a good
Yeah, it was good.
presentation you made
Yeah.
there.
Have you been out to the fair?